The Residential Tenancies Board is an independent public body that is responsible for publishing reliable figures on Ireland's rental sector. Our quarterly updates help landlords, tenants and policymakers to understand current trends in Ireland's rental market. As the custodian of Ireland's National Register of Tenancies, we have the most complete view of the rental sector. Today, we publish two sets of data that draw on our register. The first is the profile of the Register data series for Q4 2025. This tells us about the size of Ireland's rental sector. The second is the RTB ESRI Rent Index for Q3 2025. This provides the most accurate picture of average rents paid for new and existing private tenancies in Ireland. We also released important updates from RTB administrative datasets for the last quarter of 2025. They included figures on notices of termination, data on dispute resolution applications, and updates on RTB compliance and enforcement actions to uphold rental law. I will now hand you over to the RTB's Senior Research and Policy Manager, Brian Gallwey, who will take us through the key highlights.
Thanks, Rosemary. Let's start with the RTB ESRI Rent Index for Q3 2025. It shows that nationally the standardised average rent for new tenancies was up by 5.4% annually to €1,776, while rent for existing tenancies was up by 4.6% to €1,494. Rent growth for new tenancies was broadly similar to the rate recorded in the last quarter of 2024 and the first quarter of 2025. Next, let's look at the profile of the registered data for Q4 2025. The number of registered private tenancies grew by 1.1% annually to 243,598. The data shows approved housing body tenancies continued to see double-digit growth, rising by 10.7% annually to 55,914 at the end of 2025. The proportion of tenancies provided by landlords with more than 100 tenancies increased for the 10th consecutive quarter to almost 15%. In Dublin, they accounted for nearly 29% of all private tenancies.
Now, let's take a look at the RTB's administrative data released today. The RTB received 5,207 notices of termination in Q4 2025, an increase of 41% year-on-year. 62% were issued as the landlord intends to sell the property. We also received 2,583 applications for dispute services in Q4 2025, an increase of 26% annually. Finally, we continued to strengthen our compliance and enforcement work in 2025, targeting unregistered properties and RPZ rules. Following a large-scale campaign to identify breaches of RPZ rules, we returned more than 200,000 in overpaid rent to tenants. We also continued to identify and pursue unregistered tenancies in 2025. Since last November, 9 landlords have been brought to court for failure to register a tenancy. If you'd like more detail on today's update, please visit rtb.ie for more information. Thank you for watching.